Hey, this is Judah from SceneForge Studio, and in this video I'm going to go over the Storyboard Editor, or Storyboard Mode in SceneForge. Let's jump right in. So, in Shoot Mode, as you remember from previous videos, you can take snapshots of your scene, and I'll take one more, just like this. Now with each snapshot you take, it gets added to the Storyboard Frames list. So let's go into Storyboard Mode and walk through those. Storyboard Mode is probably one of the most basic of the three modes of SceneForge, and you'll see it's made up of three main panels. We have the frame selection window, or frame selection panel, and this basically goes through and displays every frame from every scene in your project. So you can see all of them listed here. Now at the bottom you have your timeline. This is where you actually display all of your storyboard frames. And on the left we have controls for our timeline. So you can see I already have one frame here, and if I select it, now we have the active frame view is shown. And I can add as many frames as I want using this Add Frame button, and I can rearrange them by clicking and dragging, or by using these little arrows to shift the frame left or right. I can also move between them using the arrow keys, and I can also shift them left and right by holding Shift and arrow keys, so that'll move the active frame left or right. Now if you have an empty frame, you can select it and then select a frame from your list. So I'm going to do this one over here. And you can see your active frame over here will show your camera properties, your lens properties, your actual frame itself, and then a bunch of options on the right-hand side. So you can see over here we have the shot number, which is also listed down below. We have the name of the shot, which you can change to whatever you want. Dialogue, which you can also change to whatever you want. Action, and description. So these are all customizable fields. Now underneath that you have the floor plan. So every time you take a snapshot, it will capture an image of the floor plan at that moment in time. So when this was taken, this is what the camera was seeing from a top-down perspective. Now let's say you wanted to indicate that these two shots are continued, meaning that rather than a camera cut between them, the camera is actually moving from this position to this position. Well, you wouldn't name them 1A and 1B, because those are two different things. You would name them 1A and 1A continued or something like that. So to indicate that, you can click on this little arrow, and it will now name it according to your naming convention. So you see that previously this was 1B, now it says 1A, because it's part of the same shot. And you'll see it retains the shot name up here. Now every director and every photographer, every movie maker, storyboard artist has their own way of writing their storyboard names and shot names. And that's why this customizable menu is super helpful. So you can click Configure Storyboard, and then you can change basically everything about the naming convention. So you can change the separator, which you can see here, change to a dot. You can change the prefix, the scene number, which gets automatically assigned based on the actual index of the scene, the shot value, so it could be a letter or a number, and the continued indicator. So in this case it's blank, but I can also change it to a letter. So now this is 1AB. And I can add another frame. Now this is 1B because it's a new frame. So I'm going to continue adding just a bunch of empty ones. I'm not going to add too much information on them. So you see the way this works, like that. So you can see we have a nice timeline of frames over here. Now let's say we want to get this outside of SceneForge. We want to access the storyboard for use on set. We can hand it to anyone. We can use it wherever we want. That's what the export button is for. So I'm going to click export, and you'll see we're met with this really great export menu. Now this menu allows you to control what gets exported, and it even has a little preview of what your frame will look like. So you can see here we can choose the file format. PDF is the most compatible, it works the best, but it takes a little bit longer depending on how much content is in your storyboard. And HTML is, well, it's just HTML. So for HTML, you can choose to make them black and white. You can also turn on and off different bits of content. And this gets updated accordingly to display what you select. So it's super customizable and super useful. Now, once you export it, you will have a new file in your project folder. So in your project folder, there's a folder called Storyboards. And here you have your list of files. So this would be either a PDF or HTML. Here's an example of a PDF storyboard in Adobe Acrobat from a previous project. So you can see here we have the camera view, camera properties, number, name, floor plan, as well as any text that we added. In this case, it's not very interesting, but it's a good example. So you can see what the camera is seeing with each shot. So you can see we have a dialogue, text, an action, and so on. Now all the way at the top there's an arrow. You might be wondering, what is that arrow? Well, that indicates that these two shots were part of a single continued motion. So we have shot 1A and 1AB. As you can see here, it indicates, and it gets cut over here. So that is an overview of the Storyboard Editor. I will see you in the next video.